Good afternoon, Vivian. What is this that you have here? Oh, Vivian, that is just so sweet. I didn't know you were gonna do this. I didn't know we were doing this for each other. I feel so bad. I'm not prepared. Well, okay, let me see. It's very cute. Did you make this yourself? It's very cute. I love it. Let's see. Roses are red, violets are blue. I poisoned the rats. Soon you'll feel it too. Okay. Well, I knew it was too good to be true. I'm glad I didn't get your ass anything. You are a hoe. You're a bitch.
It's a Friday once again.
Hello, my fellow freaks, and welcome back to the channel. I hope you've all had a great week. As you can maybe tell, I'm standing for this one. It's because I'm really antsy and can't sit still today, and I felt the need to stand and record this. And the only downside to this is that you guys can't see Vivian. Maybe we could put her somewhere in the background. Let's see. Is that good? Can you see her? Kind of. It's probably the best that I'm gonna be able to do for this video. I'm so sorry. All of the Vivian fans in the chat. Fuck her anyway, though. Anyway, welcome back to the channel, and I'm sure you've seen from the title and the thumbnail, the person who hates remakes, like hates remakes, has decided to schedule 2 remakes back to back to review on the channel. So this week's film, I'm just gonna go ahead and rip off the band-aid. We are looking at My Bloody Valentine from 2009 and directed by Patrick Lussier. And I did pick this in the hopes that it would be something bad because I feel like it's been a while since I've reviewed something that's bad that I could maybe put on a lower tier. And this film has a little bit of a personal story time to it, so bear with me. The very first time I tried to watch this remake of My Bloody Valentine, I remember that I was in college and I turned it off after 15 minutes. Just because I remember too, like I was really confused. The pacing of those first 15 minutes are horrible. Even now when I watched it for this, the first 15 minutes are just so atrocious. But back then I turned it off after the first 15 minutes because I was just like, it just started and I already want to be free. Do I really want to waste my time with watching the whole thing? You know what I mean? And I don't really remember who I was talking to. I know it was like a closer friend. I can't remember who, but I talked to somebody about my opinions of my 15 minutes watching the remake. And they began to assure me like, oh no, yeah, the introduction's really bad. The first 15, 20 minutes, really bad. I agree with you. But after that, oh my God, it gets so good, so good. So here's the thing, I know that My Bloody Valentine, it seems to be like one of the more beloved remakes that exist out there. And I have my theories as to why so many people actually love this movie. And, well, I mean, obviously we will be getting into that. But anyway, after that conversation with my friend, I knew that someday I would have to return to this film and give it a good old rewatch, give it another chance, get through those 15 minutes and see if the rest of it is actually as good as people say it is. So this is me, Valentine's Day week, giving it that other chance. And listen, I'm gonna be honest, I wasn't even like a super big crazy fan of the original film anyway. And you know, because this is a remake, I did make the decision to go back and rewatch it before making this review. And rewatching the original after the remake just makes it, I found a new appreciation for the original. As I didn't care for it before, now I care about it a whole lot. And the remake, I'm just gonna tell you right now, all the remake did was just make me fall in love with the original movie more than I ever was before. So hey, that might tell you how this review's gonna go. But first, if you are new here, hi, my name is STARGUTZZZ. Any kind of running or crashing loud noises that you might hear going on in the background, those are my cats. Also, my reviews tend to be more of a discussion of elements that I find to be good or bad about a film, rather than just giving you this whole play-by-play of every single thing that happens. So in other words, I try my best to refrain from spoilers as much as possible, but they will arise as they pertain to what I want to discuss with the film. And I will let you know, our last chapter of this right before the conclusion, it is gonna have some minor spoiler, just brief spoiler discussion. If, for whatever reason, you would like to watch My Bloody Valentine 2009 before or after this review, you can do so on just about every week, our good friend Tubi TV. I will provide a link in the description so it is that much easier for you to go out and watch this film. It is not a sponsored link. We are not sponsored by Tubi, at least not yet. That is a dream. Unfortunately and strangely, the original is not on Tubi. However, you can still watch it for free on Pluto TV, and in case anybody, even though like this review is not exactly about the original, but it seems like I still tend to do this anyway. If you are also interested in the original, I will provide the link to the Pluto TV. It's on Pluto. Did I say that? The original is on Pluto TV, which is still free with ads, and I will still provide the link to the original also in the description below. And with that, let us get right on into this review. In the town of Harmony, a tragic coal mining explosion is caused by Tom, the total fuckhead son of the owner of Hanniger Mines. Rescue crews afterwards find only one survivor who is deep within a coma: Harry Warden. However, while Harry sleeps, investigators suspect that not all who were in the explosion died in flames, rather by a pickaxe to the skull. Harry becomes a suspect to a crime, but isn't watched carefully enough as he awakens from the coma on Valentine's Day and kills 22 people. While the threat is stopped, aka they killed my beloved Harry Warden, the event left its scar on the town. Now, 10 years later, fucker Tom returns to Harmony after his father's passing so he can sell the mines. However, Tom doesn't return alone, as some nearly forgotten force in Harmony rears its head and begins to kill again. But who's really committing these murders? Is it the fucker Tom? Could it be the douchebag cheater Axel? Or has Harry Warden secretly been alive this entire time, lying in wait for Tom's return? Since, I mean, it's like literally all Tom's fault. I'm on Harry's side.
He was the best guy around.
What about the people he murdered?
What murder?
So, as I already suggested, watching this remake actually just made me like the original way more than I ever initially did. As I said, like, I went into this already, like, not crazy about the original. I had watched it twice before and just, I don't know, I just was never, like, super crazy about it. It was never, like, really one of my favorites. But now that I've watched this remake and then rewatched the original, I actually love the original way more now. It's crazy how that works. And honestly, it's primarily due to the narrative. Dude, the story in this remake is just like so needlessly, I don't know. What word do I use? Just like, ugh. It's not even a word. It's like a noise. That's what the story in this is. As I already said, those 15 minutes, those 15 minutes still suck so much ass. Not only is the pacing like so weird and awkward, but because the pacing is weird and awkward, we get like this really convoluted timeline of events. I don't know why, but it sticks in my mind. Like, how long was Harry in a coma for? Was it a year? Was it a few months? I don't know. However long it was long enough for the mine to be abandoned and for teens or young adults, I don't know how old these people are, to be partying in it late at night. And as a West Virginian, can I say something? This is so nitpicky. This is a footnote. But there are multiple times within this film where they go to the mines at night and nobody is around, and that is just so unrealistic. I'm sorry, correct me if I am wrong. Maybe things have changed, but from my memory and from my experience, minors don't just like get to go home at 5 p.m. like everybody else. They have those motherfuckers working like 12-hour shifts 24/7. Nobody working in the middle of the night at a mine is so unrealistic. It's funny. But suspension of disbelief, I suppose. Just a little side note, because it's something I noticed and it was something that I felt the need to bring up, I guess. But anyways, after that 15 minutes, I will say it does get, like, the pacing gets slower. It's not so, like, quick. Those 15 minutes, it's like they're trying to cram in as much information as possible within 15 minutes, and it's horrible. But after that, the pacing does slow down. Actually, sometimes it probably slows down too much, and it does become less confusing or convoluted in what's happening. You do start to like understand what's going on. So I'll give it that. However, and you're gonna hear me compare this remake to the original a lot. And I mean, how can I not, right? It's a remake. How could I not compare it to the original that it is attempting to imitate? So all of this like backstory on Harry Warden that happens in the remake is within this 15 minutes. This like super quick, fast pace, cram as much information as possible into these 15 minutes. And I feel like you end up not getting the full picture of the story. But meanwhile, in the original, it actually takes the time to tell in detail the full backstory of what happened with Harry Warden. And I appreciate that so much more. Like, don't rush it. Take the time to like actually tell the story. I don't know. I hate the way the remake does it. It feels like they're rushing it, and why rush it? Why rush it? Again, it's been several years since I saw the original, so when I went into the remake, I didn't remember like everything about the original. And so while watching the remake, there were several criticisms that I had, like, why are they not doing this? I want to see this, or blah blah. Well, we'll get into this. This is still just the synopsis. But I found out that every criticism I had about the remake, the original just does. Go figure, right? And I don't want to go into that too much right now because like it is part of the discussion here in a second. But I will say, to kind of end this synopsis, I do want to note, I don't think people like this movie for its narrative. I think there is a completely other reason why this has become a beloved remake, and I mean, honestly, I see it and it's valid, it's fair, we'll go over it. But yeah, I just want to note, like, I acknowledge not everyone who's a fan of this is probably here for the narrative, and that's fair, that's fine. The narrative is something that I look at, and it's something that will sometimes bother me. But first, before we go over some of the ways that I can understand why someone would like this remake, first, God, I hate every single person in this movie. Every single person, every single character is so ass. If they aren't just like completely unlikable as a personality, then they're just straight up stupid. Like, hardly anyone is likable. Two characters who I think are probably likable, which are Irene and Harry Warden. Irene and Harry Warden, only likable characters in my opinion. Well, actually, Tom Adkins is in this. He's not that bad. Like, I didn't have any disdain for him, and it was nice to see a familiar face. But like, the important characters, the characters who are supposed to be our heroes, or even, you know, the characters who are supposed to be our love interests, oh my god, I hate them. I have like so much hate in my heart for these characters. So take, for example, Axel in this film. By the way, I'll kind of touch on this, but no one in this movie is a minor. Like, for example, Axel Palmer in this film is a sheriff. He's a cop. Tom, who is essentially our TJ or Jesse or whatever, he is just like a cocky brat. I don't know. He's like the cocky brat son of a rich guy, and you can tell.
I was assured that everyone would get severance and that the more experienced men, like yourself, would be kept on.
For how long? 3 months?
It's not my problem.
No, it's my fucking problem.
This town depends on that mine. Everyone here, everyone from the miners to the cashiers at the grocery store.
It's not my responsibility.
Yes, it is.
And then Sarah is just, she's breathing. But anyway, now that I've explained that to you in case you've seen the original but not the remake, let us take for example Axel, who is supposed to be our hero cop, but oh my god, the biggest offense the remake makes is not letting Axel die. Not killing off Axel. My god, why do I hate Axel so much? Well, Axel is a married man who treats his wife like property while also cheating on her. And then there one moment that like really drove me crazy. It's this moment where he gets super butthurt because his wife, Sarah, was looking at a picture of her and her ex, who is Tom. And it was like left out on the dresser or whatever, and he found it, and he's butthurt because she was looking at a picture of her ex. Meanwhile, in the same exact moment, paused on his computer screen is the sex tape of his ex. Fuck you, buddy.
The love of your life might be involved in some very deep shit.
He's not the love of my life.
No. He left this on the dresser. What's wrong?
Wait, you're alone at 2 a.m. watching your ex's sex tape, claiming it's for evidence, whatever. I don't believe that. Alone. 2 a.m. watching your ex's sex tape, and you decide to be all like pissy and butthurt because your wife looked at a normal photograph of her and her ex together. Wow. But listen, his wife, Sarah, she's not exactly the sharpest tool in the shed. I'm so sorry. She's also like not exactly the most likable person. And it's just, I'm gonna be honest, it's just because she's stupid. Sarah in the remake is so different than the original Sarah, because Sarah in the remake is doing like the Bella Swan thing between Axel and Tom, where she's like playing with both of them, and she refuses to leave either of them alone, and neither of them are exactly good for her. But she's stupid girl in love triangle. She has to go back and forth, blah blah blah. And okay, listen, initially I was not even going to go over any of the relationship stuff that's going on in My Bloody Valentine 2009, because here's the thing, I thought it was like a personal problem. I thought it was just a me problem. Like, this is a Valentine's Day horror movie. Of course there's gonna be some kind of like romantic love dynamic happening within the narrative. Don't criticize it for that, because it's gonna be there. Like, it's a Valentine's Day movie, of course it's gonna be there, whatever. So initially I wasn't going to, until I rewatched the original, and the dynamics and handling of the same exact love triangle is handled infinitely better. It's like, I don't hate it. I don't hate it in the original like I do in the remake. In the remake, it's just... Also, remember how I said Sarah in the remake, she won't leave either of the guys alone? Sarah in the original, she's kind of smart. She kind of has a head on her shoulders, and she does have a moment where she's like, actually, just screw both of you. I'd rather be single. Logical, yes. The love triangle in the remake is just, it's so dull and boring and aggravating and predictable and like generic, I suppose you could say. And that's not saying that like in the original it's anything special either, but I'm just saying like in the original at least some of the characters are actually likable, and that it's, you know, written a little bit, it's not written as, I almost want to say not as cheesy, but the original is pretty cheesy. I think what it is that in this remake, it's very predictable and cliche and just bad. It's just bad. It's mostly like the dialogue between people. It's so bad sometimes. I fucking hate it.
Hi.
Tom?
Sarah. You're still working for your folks, I see.
Tom. What are you doing here?
I had to come back into town to clear some things up.
Oh.
And both our love interests for Sarah are just horrible. Both of them are horrible. I've already explained what my problem with Axel is, but Tom is really no better. I fucking hate Tom too. Tom's character is like such a cocky little shithead that I want to go away. First of all, like I said, he's the one that caused the explosion. And we get this like clip before it happens of him being a little shithead to Harry, and he's like, don't tell me how to do my job, I know how to do my job.
We're rescue training down below. You vented the methane at 5, right?
I know my job, Harry.
Like fuck you do, Andrew.
Just because your daddy owns the mine doesn't mean you know shit.
Do you? Do you? Do you? Okay. And then I don't care. I don't care what he went through. I hate Tom. He runs away for 10 years only to return when his dad's dead and to sell the mines, sell Hannigan Mines, which is the primary source of income for several families within. It's a coal mining town. This motherfucker's coming to sell them. Put probably hundreds of people out of their jobs. Like, fuck Tom. I fucking hate Tom. Everything about Tom is horrible. He's so cocky, I can't stand it. And Axel is such a douchebag, I can't stand it. Both love interest potentials are just like the worst possible candidates. I can't. And something that I don't think helps with Tom specifically is that I don't think I like his actor. He's one of the Supernatural guys. I don't know his name. I don't care to look it up if I'm being honest. And I guess I haven't seen him in anything else unless I've forgotten. I think this might be the first time I've ever actually seen him act in anything. But this man acts so serious. This is what he acts so serious, but he is naturally so unintentionally goofy. He is like the goofiest looking motherfucker I've ever seen, but he is taking the acting so serious, maybe some of the most serious acting that I've ever seen from anyone.
If I were you, Tom, I'd get the hell out of town.
No, I'm not running this time. I'm gonna find him.
And I almost wonder if him being so serious about the acting is emphasizing how naturally goofy he is.
I didn't follow you for 10 years.
Didn't. I faced it.
I can't. I wish I could, but I can't. I lost my way.
I don't know. I can't stand the fact that he is so goofy, but acting so dead serious. And all his eyebrows. I have to discuss his eyebrows. How absolutely cocky he acts with the most insanely expressive eyebrows. Those eyebrows, like, I couldn't stop staring at him because they are just so intensely expressive all the time. And again, it's like something that's so naturally goofy, but he's acting so serious, and I'm just like, oh my god, dude, like, lighten up, like, untense your shoulders or something. But look at the stance. Look at the stance that he hits. Tell me this guy isn't goofy. He looks so serious right now, but he looks so fucking goofy. I can't take you as seriously as you want to be taken when you're standing like this. So I did end up looking at the actor's IMDb, and I found out that he was on Days of Our Lives for 3 years as a seemingly important character. If you don't know, Days of Our Lives is a soap opera, so that checks out. It all makes sense now. And I don't think you're trying to be goofy, Stan. I think you're serious, but you look goofy as shit. I don't know. I think it's just that this guy, I've discovered that this guy naturally bothers me somehow. And it doesn't help that the character that he's playing is so fucking cocky. Such a cocky little shithead that needs to be punched, dude. And listen, I'm not just trying to hate on this actor because he's like a part of something that's popular that I'm not like into.
What the dog doing?
I'm not just trying to be a hater, because here's the thing. The other guy, he was in House of Wax, and he was fine in that. I liked him. And also House of Wax is that's a good remake. That's really good. I didn't have a problem with the other one in House of Wax, so that's just to prove my point that I'm not just being a hater because I'm not in the fandom. But I can't stand Tom. I can't stand Axel. I can't really stand anybody. I think Harry Warden is the best character in this, and we really see him for like, what, all of 30 seconds? Not only do I believe that the original does the whole love triangle thing better, but Actually, it does like every part of the narrative better. Let me share just a few examples before moving on. So one of the things that I really love about the original that we just don't see at all in the remake is how heavily it leans into the themes of both coal mining and Valentine's Day. Like, it really leans in to both of these themes and does so pretty unapologetically. And in that aspect, it's also like campy. It's such like a fun, campy film. You know, it even goes to the extent of the town within the original. It's called Valentine Bluffs. It's just like full-blown Valentine's Day everywhere, decorations everywhere. Literally, like, everything is red and white, and I don't think there's a lot of pink. It's mostly like red. But it's just like so unashamed of the fact that it is a Valentine's Day horror movie. Meanwhile, with the remake, it seems like it's taking the subject super serious, and it has like, there's like maybe there'll be one decoration in the background that's a Valentine's Day related. The only card or really box that we see we get like one or two things with like a heart in the box. We see one card, but the card isn't even like used by the killer. It's between Axel and his little mistress that he has. Sorry, I forgot to include this as important because in the original, the killer leaves multiple threatening Valentine's Day cards for cops to find. And it's fun and campy. I like it. Basically what I'm getting at is I think the remake is embarrassed about the fact that it's a Valentine's Day movie and it's trying to take everything, again, really serious. It's trying to make it serious and dark. In the original, it's so like bright and campy and fun, and it's like really leaning into the themes that it's chosen. And just the narrative as a whole, to go along with that, the narrative as a whole is, again, just way more focused on both Valentine's Day and the coal miners. As I mentioned before, the characters who are Axel and Tom in the original are Axel and TJ, both of which are coal miners, and all of the other, like half of our cast in the original are actually coal miners that are working in the mines that the shit went down in. They're all like blue collar citizens. And so not only is the whole Valentine's Day aspect of it really leaned into, but they really lean into the fact that these are coal miners and it's a coal miner like killer. Again, the remake feels like it is too ashamed to lean into that because Axel is a cop and Tom's trying to sell the mine. We hardly really have any connection with the mine happening whatsoever. Meanwhile, in the original, it feels like there's a very strong connection happening between the characters in the mine, obviously because they are miners, you know? I'm sorry, I know I keep butting in on this episode, but while editing this, I had the thought, in the original, the relationship between like Harry Warden or the legend of Harry Warden and the coal miners is much stronger. Like, the relationship is kind of akin to like folklore or fairy tales even. Yes, we're talking about fairy tales. Harry Warden is an urban legend to the coal miners. So it's this urban legend, or it's not even an urban legend. We shouldn't say that, but it's this scary story, perhaps, that happened to coal miners that they tell, that they've been telling for 20 years. And then that story comes to life for our characters. It's a fairy tale. It's folklore. It's incredible. The more I think about this film, the more I love it. Everything about it, like narratively, story-wise, the direction that it goes, how it takes its time, how it's a little bit more fun and campy and it's kind of unserious. Man, the original just like is so infinitely better than this dull, boring, shitty remake full of unlikable characters with horrible dialogue. These movies are total polar opposites of each other, dude. But as I said, everyone who enjoys My Bloody Valentine 2009, they probably are not here for the story. I'm just gonna be honest, I think majority of people who love this movie are not here for the plot. I would say that most people who love this remake love it because of the kills and the 3D effects. And listen, I can't really say that I blame them. The absolute highlight of My Bloody Valentine was definitely like the creative kills, the intense gore, and if anyone had had the pleasure of watching this in 3D, well, I'm sure that that has also impacted your viewing experience. Now, unfortunately, I did not get to watch this in 3D as I think it is meant to be watched. I would 100% rewatch this just to watch it in 3D because I think that would impact the audience actually getting to see it the way it's meant to be seen. I would 100% take the opportunity to rewatch it in 3D. In fact, I'm curious if I got it on DVD, if it would give me a 3D option. Now, obviously, you can still tell where the 3D effects would come into play when watching this on a, standard format. And I will say it does look like a really cool and really memorable experience to watch it that way. And I think having that experience, I would see it warping someone's perception of how good this film actually is. And something that I do like is that My Bloody Valentine 2009 really plays around with the types of kills that it can do thanks to the 3D format. And right here, I do have to just input a little, they do have one kill that's a little callback to the original. It's cute. It's somebody coming out of a dryer. Cute. That was in the original. Cute little callback. I liked it. But one of my absolute favorite moments was with Irene in the hotel when she's being chased by who we believe might be Harry Warden. In this scene, she is hiding under a bed and the mattress is flown up from it, and it's like a metal bed frame, so it has like the grid on the bottom, and she kind of uses this as a cage to protect herself from Harry. And just, I don't know, I love the way that it's done, and I bet this is one of those scenes that would just look really fucking cool in 3D, especially when he stomps his boot on the, can I say grate? It's not really a grate. I just, that's a really cool moment. I love that. And again, the way they do the camera work, where they kind of go into her perspective for some of it, it makes you feel like you're actually in a cage with the pickaxe just barely missing you through the grid. I just, I think that would be so cool to see in 3D, especially when it came out. Also, just the pickaxe in general is oh my god, it is an awesome choice of weapon. The pickaxe is awesome and it's unique, and it definitely makes Harry Warden stand out from other slashers. There's no other coal miner slashers, are there? And there's definitely not any others that use a pickaxe to my knowledge. Apparently this is both. It's going on the list. So that weapon choice already is creative and unique, but then taking that pickaxe and putting it in the 3D format, yes. I think it lends itself well to being a weapon for 3D. It's a handheld weapon like an axe would be, or maybe like a machete would be, but it has a sharp point to it. So when Harry goes in for a kill, it's like the pickaxe is literally poking your eye out. That's so perfect. And listen, even though it's a gimmick, and I ragged on the gimmick of last week's remake film, whatever, the gimmick here is not one that I hate. I love the 3D gimmick. I love and miss this type of 3D specifically within cinema, because now 3D, it's just atmospheric, I guess. And more than anything, it just gives you a headache. We don't have fun 3D anymore where stuff is literally popping out at you and getting in your face, When I think of good fun 3D, it's gonna be such a funny example, but I do think of Muppet Vision from Walt Disney World, which is no longer there, rest in peace, but I did have the opportunity to see it when back in 2019. My point is, the 3D for Muppet Vision is the 3D that I miss in cinema, where it is it's so in-depth and so good that you're leaning back because it literally feels right in your face. That's how I imagine that My Bloody Valentine, in its correct way that it probably should be watched, would be. And while I didn't get to experience My Bloody Valentine in 3D, I have gotten to experience a horror movie in 3D that really plays with the wanting to poke your eye out effects, and that is Saw 3D. Saw 3D, I do believe, was my first R-rated film in theaters, and I remember all of the eye-poking effects for that, so it's fun. I like it. Where are all the 3D horror movies? Where are all the 3D movies in general? Stop just making it it's atmosphere. Make it corny. I want shit popping out at me. Like Vincent Price with the, what's that called? Like a paddle ball? Whatever? I don't know. So listen, I do give this film some props for having a very fun, unique, and creative way of killing its victims and of just using the 3D format in general. It's fun. And because of the 3D, again, the kills, they're unique. And they get really creative, really playful with it. I am a fan of that. And also I do just in general like a slasher who is a coal miner because again, I am in West Virginia and I think that it is cool. I really like Harry Warden. He is an upstanding citizen. And finally, we have a little bit of a spoiler discussion, if you care about it. I don't know. I'm not gonna tell you whether or not you should care about spoilers for this. That's gonna be up to you. Sometimes I care, sometimes I want you guys to be surprised or not know something, but in this case, I just briefly want to share some of my thoughts of the ending and the reveal of who the killer is. And listen, I'm actually ashamed. Oh, before I say it, I was just about to talk about it and not even give you guys like a timestamp to skip to. You can either just go ahead to the conclusion or this timestamp, which will also take you to the conclusion if you don't want spoilers. But do you notice how much I didn't care whether you skip this or not, that I forgot to give you a timestamp? I am kind of ashamed to say this, but they got me. When they revealed who the killer was, they got me. They tricked me, but listen, the only reason that they tricked me is because probably early on, midway, whenever it happens in the film, I'll discuss what scene it is. I had a thought that might be the direction that they're going, but then I was like, that's a little bit too clever. I won't give this film that much credit. What I said was too clever for them to do is what they actually ended up doing. And that really surprised me. So I will say the reveal of who the killer was did actually genuinely end up shocking me because they effectively tricked me, mostly because I thought the film was dumber than it was. So at the end, it is revealed that Tom is our killer, Tom Hannigan, who is responsible for the explosion, who came back to sell the mines. He is the one who has been dressing up as Harry Warden and killing everybody. Now, in the original, if you haven't seen the original, tough shit, I'm about to spoil it. In the original, Axel is actually the killer, so in a way it does like defy people who were fans of the original probably went into this and were also tricked because in the original Axel is the killer. And I will say the film does do a really good job of setting it up for Axel to be the killer. However, that could just be my own bias because I fucking hated Axel and I thought, well, if he's the killer, then maybe he'll be dead at the end of this. And there are definitely several things that it does to set it up for Axel to be the killer, but in the end, it turns out to be Tom. And it also kind of ends up being a psychological horror at this point. Now, I was actually, even though I'm ashamed that this film tricked me, I was really excited about this reveal because from the reveal to the mine collapsing a second time at the very end, that moment in general is just like so good. How they reveal it is also so good. And there's just like little effect that they do while seeing Tom as Harry. So it turns out to be that Tom is just like really mentally ill and he kind of has this split personality thing going on. And sometimes he's Tom, sometimes he is basically, you could say, possessed by the spirit of Harry or whatever. I don't think that's what's actually going on, but it's like half of him is himself and then the other half just Harry. And the face, again, back to this actor that I don't think I like, the face that he makes when he turns into Harry, it's just another beautiful example of how this guy is acting so serious, but he's like so unintentionally goofy. Okay, I feel like I've been a little bit all over the place, but there is a moment within this ending that I like a lot. It's just like a little effect that happens, but it is while Harry-Tom is going down a tunnel, and as he is going down it, he's taking the pickaxe and he is smashing lights to like black everything out. And every flash of light that happens, his facade turns into Harry. And it's just like a little tiny detail right there at the end to show the psychological horror. Maybe I might have liked this film if it just straight up leaned into the psychological horror more. Because any moment that I now see is going into the psychological horror is really good. Like this moment with the light flashing. Again, a little detail, but I love it so much. And the reveal or ending just especially makes me love the moment where I thought Tom and Harry were the same person. It makes me love that moment even more, that scene. And this scene is when Tom is in the mine with that guy. I don't know why he's in the mine. He's in the mine, and then Harry comes out of nowhere and pushes him into this cage and locks him in. And there's this cool moment where they come face to face and their movements are matching each other. It's really neat. And then he is forced to stay in this cage while Harry kills this guy. I felt like that was very symbolic of probably his mental state, where he himself is locked up and can't do anything, and Harry is now taking control. And now that I know that really truly was the case and was the direction that the film, wanted to go in, I love that scene even more now. A rare case of something in this film that I actually love a lot. I kind of wish they did lean into the psychological stuff more, even if it would have made it easier for the audience to guess. I don't care. I want to see more examples of Tom being locked up in the cage. That's really the only time that we see an interaction like that, so it's also kind of easy for the audience to forget that even happened. But also, I think this film was so successfully stupid that when I thought this could be the case, this could be the reveal at the end, I immediately discredited it, because I'm like, this film's not gonna do that. It's not gonna think to do that. The killer is gonna be Axel. I was so wrong. And honestly, I'm glad I'm wrong. Come here. However, despite some of the things that I did really end up liking about My Bloody Valentine 2009, it in general just made me fall in love with the original film way more than I ever did before. This is one of those remakes that is a perfect example of taking a film that already has a fine narrative and fine everything, basically, and just taking it and fucking everything up. This remake is the perfect example of that. And maybe it's good that this remake exists and that I watched it, because if it wasn't for this remake, I probably still wouldn't care, be too crazy about the original My Bloody Valentine. And now I really like it, like it a whole lot. So I guess that's one good thing that this remake is for, is helping some of us really appreciate the original more. The original, it did every single thing that I wished I saw in the remake. The remake it's dull, it's boring, it's taking itself really serious. As I said, it feels like it's embarrassed about the fact that it's a Valentine's movie. The original, it's just campy and fun. It really leans into its themes, and the narrative in general is just better. The characters in general are more likable. I didn't like a whole lot that was happening narratively within this remake. Although, as I said, I think many people who love this remake are not here for the plot. They probably do not care that much about the story. They're more than likely just here for the really cool creative kills, for the 3D effects, and the gore. And you know what? That's fair. No hate there. I do think that this has some really fun creative kills to it, and as I said, I would absolutely love the opportunity to actually rewatch this in 3D sometimes. I think that would impact my viewing experience. I am sure it is very badass in 3D. And who knows, maybe I will forget about how horrible the narrative is whenever I eventually watch it in 3D. Maybe I'll be so distracted by the badass 3D effects that I'll be like, what narrative? You know what I mean? But as it stands today in its standard form, what tier will I be putting My Bloody Valentine 2009 on? Well, you guys, I'm gonna be honest. I'm putting this remake on the C tier. C for can't stand a single person in this movie, except Harry and Irene, and I guess Tom Adkins, just because he's a familiar face. I don't know. And I personally just cannot get past everyone being so unlikable. Every character is so unlikable. The dialogue is so bad, and I personally just cannot move past that to enjoy it for being a fun, gory mess. Especially because it gets so narrative focused that the kills aren't even the majority of the film. A lot of it is slow dialogue bullshit that I just makes me irritated and I hate everyone even more. And what really emphasizes it now is because I've watched the original. I've rewatched the original after watching this. And the original is just the absolute polar opposite to this remake with likable characters and campy vibes. But I mean, the kills and the gore, they are good though. I'm not gonna like blame somebody for liking this, because I think I get why. I think you should just watch House of Wax instead. And with that, we are done with yet another movie review. Thank you guys so much if you stuck around all the way until the very end. If you like this video, please make sure you stab that like button. It is a free and easy way to help support this channel. Also, is there a film that you would like to hear my opinion on? Put it in the comments down below and maybe you will see it turn up in a future video. Also, if you like this video just so much that you want to hear me ramble about more horror movies, B movies, bad remakes, Tubi weird shit. In the summer we are going to be doing 2 months of trauma films. I'm also extending into fantasy now. So if any of that interests you, if you want to hear me ramble about more cinema, please consider hitting that subscribe button and the bell icon so you can be notified every time I make a new upload. Which new uploads are every Friday at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. On the screen as well are some of my social media links. I was originally going to live stream tonight as I usually do on Fridays. However, my OBS has been acting very weird and crashing a lot. Not only that, but I'm literally finishing this video just 2 hours before it gets uploaded because I've been so busy this week. So low-key, I'm exhausted. And I'm taking OBS constantly crashing as a sign to not live stream tonight. However, we will be live on Sunday. What is that? The 15th? February 15th at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time with more Oregon Trail 2. And this time, we will 100% be making it to Oregon with my whole family intact. So join me for the Oregon Trail 2 on Sunday at 6. If you can't make it, VODs are saved on the channel, and that channel is on the screen as well as linked in the description below if you are just in that much need of additional STARGUTZZZ content. And just one final thank you so much to everyone who stuck around until the very end. Our time here is precious, and the fact that you have used your time to sit here and listen to me talk about how much I fucking hate this remake. Just thank you. I appreciate it a whole lot. I appreciate you and your time and the time that you spent to sit here and listen to me ramble. Just thank you. If I do not see you in tonight's live stream, then I will see you in the next video. But until then, please have a great night and stay safe out there. And happy Valentine's Day.
What, you think I was Harry Warden or something? Hey, Michael, check this out.